All right, welcome to another Brand Royale. Today we're going to jump into the crypto world. Who do we got?
A little bit of crypto. So today we're going to look at two different crypto wallets, I guess. Coinbase versus crypto.com. Two obvious competitors. One a little bit more established, Coinbase founded in 2012, I believe. Crypto.com, 2016, up-and-comer, spending a whole lot of money on marketing to make up the groundwork up to Coinbase.
They have money, or should we say crypto?
Yeah, I mean, I heard crypto.com is spending over $1 billion a year on marketing. Anyways, we'll dive a bit deeper into it, whereas Coinbase is really establishing themselves and their brand. So, Coinbase, crypto.com. Let's get into it. First thing we're going to look at, I think, today is their website and see how these two are positioning themselves, right? We're going to start looking at Coinbase first and then crypto.com to see how these two similar solutions really have different approaches when it comes down to their brand and their website. So here's our little Coinbase.com website. So what do you think?
Super kind of standard startup, but you can trust it, right? The blue... Is it that one blue that is only visible on RGB colors? Or is that...
It might be, I don't know, some kind of digital blue.
Digital
pretty
blue.
Sweet.
Yeah. It's pretty. Beautiful. And then even that the big coin at the bottom there. Yeah. It's kind of a bold move. But
it's enticing. You want to scroll down, you're like, what's going on with the coin here?
Yeah. But I would say it's safe, it's extremely functional. It gets what it needs to get across, but it's not necessarily trying to sell you on like a lifestyle or
feels pretty honest.
Yeah.
Feels pretty honest. They show you the UI right away. You don't have to guess what the product is about. And they're just, going into it.
Which kind of makes sense for something that is kind of scary,
Yeah. I mean, for people that don't know what crypto is and how, it's really hard to get the right information, I would say, for most people. But this type of website allows you to build trust into something that's really unknown, and that's really nice. Even the illustrations that they're putting, making it a little bit more human. Super interesting. Let's go take a look at crypto.com on the opposite hand here. Let's take a look at crypto.com. Look at this.
They got Matt Damon. They win. Brand Royale complete.
Right away, you got Matt Damon. Oh, they even had on the spacesuit, it says Satoshi. I don't know if you noticed. Pretty interesting. Look at them right there. Pretty cool. Very different look. So they go a little bit darker, a bit more serious, a bit more like future digital. What do you think? Let's take a look at this.
This is the adventurer. This is the guy that has a VR headset that's trying new things all the time. And it's typically probably the first early adopters when it comes to crypto. So I think that they do hit a nice audience here.
You think this is more about the more serious crypto investor versus Coinbase is the daily user investor type of person that wants to get into it really easily?
Exactly. They're kind of both on slight extremes, where Coinbase is very consumer. They're trying to come across as friendly, trustworthy, easy to use, and crypto.com is trying to come across as almost like the expert's tool.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. They're selling you the crypto exchange.
Yeah.
Although that design could use a little bit of work.
Coinbase has GDAX, which looks very similar to that, right? But it's almost exactly the same product. They're just marketing it differently.
Quite differently.
It'd be funny if they were the same company. Imagine, because all the functionality, the back end, all of it's very
all the
similar,
systems,
right?
everything similar.
You can just rebrand it, target different audience segments, and then make a killing. 4,000 people on that team. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing how fast these companies are scaling. Because imagine trying to hire 4,000 people in 3 years in the crypto world. Not only is that a brand.
So 2016, 2022. So they had 6 years now.
6 years. Okay. So 6 years.
4,000 people. That's still a crazy rate scale. It's just insane.
Try to get to know 4,000 people in that amount of time. Imagine hiring them and onboarding them. Hopefully they don't burn through their cash too quickly. But I guess, it's a growing space.
It is a growing space. And again, since we were talking about how similar their products are, let's take a look at how different their brands are. Because at the end of the day, their product and their brands are probably the two things that differentiate a company.
Yeah.
And so if the products are similar, let's look at how these people can, call themselves separate companies by looking at how their brand identity is different.
In some ways, the Coinbase one seems really basic, but I personally do appreciate it more than the crypto one.
It's so refined. I mean,
Yeah.
they spent time figuring it out. They hired, Moniker in San Francisco to redesign their identity, and I mean, you can see the work. They spent tons of hours, and a lot of people probably, and tons of money, I'm sure.
Oh, they got their own
this.
font too. So
yeah,
Coinbase
they created their own
their
fonts with over 30,000 glyphs. Like, it's insane. So like, yeah, they spent beaucoup money to get
Yeah,
this.
for people
this
that don't know,
thing.
that's got to be at least 120 grand. My guess is
Just
probably,
for the font.
Yeah, just for the font,
And
right?
the
And
identity.
every weight, it costs like an additional like 100 grand. It's wild.
Yeah.
And so they definitely invested there. Crypto.com, I'm actually, and that's this part that I least enjoy about their logo is the letter forms. I'm not familiar with Acumen Pro, but the lowercase for their lockup there is seems incredibly kind of slapped together.
Yeah, it didn't feel as refined for sure. I mean, just look at the height of the H on the T and like how it goes above and stuff. Like there's like little refinement things that are needed, I think, for Crypto.com. And it's interesting because their two approaches are so different. Like, I mean, Coinbase just rebranded like a couple years ago. They invested a lot in it. Crypto is investing all their money in marketing. They have that one mark and that one logo that they use everywhere, and we'll see that later. And it's like in a way the efficiency is pretty remarkable. Like they have two colors, this dark blue and this light one, and that's it. And they make it work, and no matter what they are.
It's just like whatever.
And now you see them in Formula One and NBA and at UFC, and you see them everywhere. So pretty interesting.
Can I talk about the crypto mark really quick?
Yeah. Well, let's go dive into it a little bit. By looking at monikers. So this is the agency in San Francisco that created the new Coinbase brand. So moniker SF. You want to see the mark?
Actually, it was the crypto.com one that I kind of have more an issue with. The Coinbase one's like hard to critique, right? Because like if you can own a simple mark like that and you have the marketing dollars to do so, like power to you. Like it's hard to refute.
If they put the Uber app logo next to it, though, you'd be asking questions about how close these marks are, and
but
like
the colors are different, right?
Yeah, the colors are different. Which is at the end of the day,
but
color
it's true. You'd be like, it's the same family. It must be the same tech company or the same investors behind them. But
here's the work that Coinbase put into their different fonts and glyphs. So pretty beautiful work. It's always nice to look at agencies' portfolios and how they present the work that they've done. So. A lot of nice work. So they spent a lot of time animating a lot of this work. They're talking about like the future is in motion, and so crypto has no hours. It's kind of like night and day type thing, and they want everything to always be in motion, so the world is connected. And so they talk a lot about this through a lot of the design they do. So a lot of it has to do with kind of the almost like the Coinbase C coming down, interacting with everything.
I like it. It's clean.
Pretty clean.
Yeah.
A lot of cool animations. Some beautiful grid work. Really well executed, I would say. Basic graphic design that's been really well done. Like it's pretty beautiful.
What is that grid? It's just a 24 column grid.
It's a 24-hour, like I think it's like the world clock grid, and then they turned it into a graphic design. They turned it into like a graphic design element.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
That's really cool.
That's how you take inspiration to design and execute it really well. Yeah. That's where that storytelling goes a long way, I think, and a lot of people overlook this when they build a brand, but that's what goes into it, a little bit of those details that make people really catch onto a brand and love it for what it is. So
yeah, it's a system, right? Imagine paying like $1 million or whatever they had to pay for that mark, and just but once you see all the thought behind it, it makes a whole lot of sense. Once you see that, like, oh, they're testing in all these different formats, all these different ways. What is that? That's beautiful.
So they did a bunch of stuff, and they show you a little bit of what it looks like in their brand guidelines. I hope they offer them something that is more of a system that's interactive for people, because this as a PDF would be a nightmare to deliver.
Let us know if you need a Brand OS.
Let's take a look at on the other end, Crypto.com. So we want to talk about Crypto.com, right? Through all the research I did, this is about how much I could find about Crypto.com's logo and brand. It's on Crypto.com's website about us, company, and they talk about the logo, and they say, the lion is our symbol, symbolizes strength, trust, and courage. As a company, we have operations in Hong Kong, where the lion is the symbol of the largest bank. So it feels a bit establishment in a way. They connect themselves to the establishment, which is weird for a crypto wallet, because the whole idea is to detach yourself from the financial institution. But anyways, also known as the lion city, derived from Asinga, and then therefore the symbolism is close to our heart. So then the electrum lion, the earliest coins were made of gold or silver, but of electrum, naturally occurring gold silver alloy. And the lion was one of the earliest kind of coins that they found, and so they used that as their logo. And that's about it. That's about all you can read about their brand.
Weak. What do you think? I'm not crazy about it. Yeah.
I mean, there's a spark of an idea, but I think this is about like the first week at Moniker Agency. That's kind of what they put together. They're like, hey, we have a story. It's going to be the lion. And then they execute and like build a whole story around it. I don't think Crypto.com is at that stage where they want to or need to.
They haven't invested the time. They just went all in. Which is crazy considering the marketing dollars, right? You would think that they would spend at least 5% of that on making sure that the actual assets that they're throwing out there into the world are high performing.
Yeah. You would think they were like hyper performant fonts and hyper performant colors, and like they would run but I'm guessing
even like the border around the logo kind of like bothers me. Like the hexagon around the logo.
It builds a lot of tension with the blocks that are like drooping down and stuff. So
just random little tension spots it creates.
The blocks to create the lion's head is pretty clever, but even that could have been a system of the similar shapes that then create the lion's head, and then out of that you create a real system and stuff. So anyways, hey, interesting things are their brand. Let's look at their product, because at the end of the day, people are going there for the product, right?
Yeah, it's execution. I mean, the logo definitely does make a difference, but the product is king.
And we can dive on their product. Honestly, for Crypto.com, this is pretty much all I could see online. I try to find images of their products, and they show you only a few screenshots, and that's about it. Like, and they're all over the internet, the same screenshots. So it's kind of like, this is what you get for Crypto.com. It's a, quite, I would say, simple and traditional interface.
Their logo looks like a hazard, like a nuclear hazard sign from this distance.
It does a little bit from far.
Yeah.
See, legibility, but even legibility of a logo. So let's talk about this, like Coinbase, when they created their logo, and if we saw it at that scale, I think it would still be legible as the Coinbase logo, whereas that Crypto.com from far is really, really tough to read. That's a good point. We can look really quickly. I believe on the about Coinbase, let me see, they have like product, they do have some product shots that they show, but nothing super interesting in terms of the product itself. Let's take a look. Yeah, I mean, the designs are pretty simple. I think Coinbase, you can probably do like light mode and dark mode. I like the fact that Coinbase is mostly selling light visual apps, whereas crypto is really going dark. So Coinbase really did study their market and understand who their competitors are. Because if they saw that Crypto.com was really super dark, they knew they need to do the opposite, and they went super light, which is pretty fascinating. It looks super clean. I mean, overall as an app, I think both products are super I would say basics in terms of what new UI components and new UI strategies are, but easy to use. I think they're making a very complicated topic really easy to use, which is hard to do. Next, let's talk about a little bit of how these two companies market themselves.
Oh, these are really good examples. Yeah, so, talk to me about these.
So these are two images. So we mentioned a little bit how Crypto.com invested a lot of their money in marketing and not brand. Crypto.com has crazy connections to like pretty much all the biggest sports in the world. So they're now like the main basically sponsor, one of the main sponsors for the new World Cup, for Formula 1, for UFC. So wherever people are spending their time watching, they want to be in the background and they want to be there. They want to be seen. So when people are talking about crypto, all they know is they have to go to crypto.com and they get into them. And so we had a conversation offline. You were saying how genius the crypto.com website name is.
It is.
I mean, they bought it apparently off some professor that like had the domain, and the professor sold it for like, I think like 5 or something million. I'm like, way
5 million. Oh my God.
I don't know what the number was, but it was like something like that. I was like, that's probably way too low for what it is. Anyways.
He could have got 10, 15.
So, and on the left is Coinbase, and this is Coinbase's Super Bowl ad. So for those of you who know,
that's bold.
Super Bowl ads are very expensive. They're some of the most watched ads in the world. They're like competing against a lot of other people to try to be seen for whatever. You buy 30-second spots, a minute spot, whatever it is. And every second is a few $1 million. It's like super expensive to build an ad. And Coinbase, I think, rented a 15-second ad or something like that. That had, if you guys have seen The Office, it had this block just going up and down the screen.
It's incredible.
So if you, honestly, they rented. Let's take a look at this. Where is, Oh yeah, this is Coinbase's Super Bowl ad. Pretty genius.
I wonder how much testing they did before they probably had like a bunch of focus groups where they had like fake Super Bowl living room set up. And then there must have been enough people, because at the end of the day, you want people to download the app, right?
Yeah.
So you want people to go to a URL on their phone. And so this will get the job done. Simple,
it's crazy. Yeah.
Simple as that.
You get your phone out and then you scan it.
Because you'd wonder.
And you're like, what is it? That's it.
What can this
they didn't even say
possibly
Coinbase.
be?
They didn't even say Coinbase. They just did that.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, Crypto.com is doing this. Anyways, they're like signing Formula One teams, and they're not signing Formula One. They're like signing contracts with Formula One, with PSG, with like some of the biggest, most watched brands in the world.
Yeah.
And sports in the world, and that's how they're investing their money. Pretty interesting strategy differences here.
Which one do you like? Do you prefer?
I mean, Coinbase doesn't spend much on marketing. It doesn't seem like, because I've looked. I mean, they probably spend money on like social media and stuff like that, to get their name out. But I didn't see much anything else anywhere else. And so they're slowly now making a partnership with the NBA, and they're like trying to do these things. But Crypto.com straight up bought the naming rights for Staples Centers in LA and renamed it a Crypto.com Arena.
At LA's Staples Center?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's now called the Crypto.com Arena.
Yeah.
That's how much money Crypto.com is investing in, just like...
What?
So like I said, $1 billion a year, apparently. Like some of the numbers are ridiculous.
That'll do it.
Like if you want to like...
Is that just Hong Kong money, or who's backing them?
It's very...
Or is that
it's a
just
private company.
Crypto money.
So nobody, I don't think, knows.
Nobody knows?
I think they're tied to old financial banking institutions. So probably HSBC and like some of these like financial banking that probably invest in future crypto. Who knows?
They're known for some corruption.
Well, who knows? I don't know. I don't want to say anything about Crypto.com. I don't know how. I don't know enough about how their money was done, but like pretty interesting. Let's look at their social media presence. Yeah. I mean, for a company that's been around since 2016, like Crypto.com is coming pretty hard. They have 1 million followers on Instagram, 2 million on Twitter.
Compared to Coinbase?
Coinbase has 5 million on Twitter. So let's just take a look a little bit at how their brands look a little bit on. Where are we at? Let's do Coinbase. Instagram, they go a lot with like the NFT and the NFT community, trying to push like...
They both have...
it's one of the only things you can monetize right now using crypto. So they're kind of like incentivized to like push something that's going to help people trade money through their accounts and stuff like that. So they're selling a lot of NFT.
I would love to know what the cut is.
Yeah, probably a huge cut.
Probably pretty significant on those NFTs. I mean, they're getting a little piece of those transactions each time someone trades, but... I wonder how much they make off of the NFTs. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, dude. A lot.
They're really focused on it too.
Yeah. You can see, like, especially on Instagram. Let's take a look at what their strategy is on Twitter. But, yeah. Talk about philanthropy. 11 years ago, Satoshi left us all on red. It's pretty good. Surprisingly, not as much NFT chatter on Twitter.
I'd be interested to see how active their CEOs are as well.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at that.
Because it seems like in this space that you have to be kind of public facing a little bit, because it's such a trust. It involves so much trust when it comes to like people's assets or life savings. You heard what happened to the Canadian exchange. I forgot what it's called, so I'm not going to just name some random exchange, but the guy ended up getting plastic surgery, just walked away with all the cash in the wallet. The biggest Canadian crypto exchange.
What?
Yeah. And then, so obviously there's a lot of eyes on Coinbase and Crypto.com to make sure that, they don't walk away with the cash.
Yeah.
This is the one thing beautiful about crypto is that, it's sometimes hard to trace, but at the same time you could... Yeah, that's the hard.
It made a whole lot of millionaires during the pandemic times. Let's take a look at Crypto.com.
I made $2 too, so
yeah.
I can't complain. Yeah.
Crypto.com is again, more serious. They go straight to like their podcast. They're showing you their sport partnership. Obviously, I mean, the Formula One Grand Prix in Miami is going to be called the Formula One Crypto.com Grand Prix.
Wow.
That's the first Miami Grand Prix, and they're straight up naming it the Crypto.com Grand Prix.
That's incredible.
It's pretty next level. Like
Crypto
they're spending in that World Cup too. How can you get F1 and World Cup? It's nuts. And PSG, which is one of the most like valued soccer team in the world, like it's just insane. But their Instagram is pretty straightforward, like just telling you about what's coming up, kind of like events and like things like that. Whereas their Twitter,
yeah, someone who really knows what they're doing is just reaching out like a madman.
Yeah, and you can see they talk a bit more about, you're right, the above average, I'd say, investor, somebody that spends a bit more time doing it.
Yeah.
A bit more serious about trading and doing these type of things.
Their return on their marketing dollars must be insane too.
Yeah.
To justify $1 billion investment, you probably already know your customer acquisition costs.
And these were like the closest estimates I could find that people were talking about online, but because they're a private company, it was a bit harder to find numbers. But yeah, super interesting. Super interesting.
I wonder how many of these deals kind of happen like above table and below table too. Like when you're talking about Formula One and UFC and different things like that, I wonder how those conversations go. Like, is it, hey, I want to give you all this money, like a typical deal, or is it, hey, I'm going to give you some crypto?
It's interesting. I wonder if crypto is part of their contracts.
Why wouldn't it be? And then if you're trying to get someone on like the FIFA board or someone to like, or the Formula One board to be on your good side, you just hand them over a USB stick. Just be like, hey, we want to be on the ads. This.
Oh, you're talking about bribe level.
Sorry, I'm like completely making stuff up about Coinbase.
You know what? The conspiracy theorists out there can hit us up.
Yeah, hit us up. Let us know.
And let us know what you think.
Someone should look into it.
Yeah. So crypto.com.
I'm like one of those conspiracy guys on YouTube now. I'm like, who knows?
Don't come after us. We're just here showing you
I'm
some
sure
beautiful brand systems.
I'm sure it's 100% legitimate. Yeah, all these companies are 100%.
Of course. Especially at that scale. Anyways, guys, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for being here. Yeah, this is
awesome.
Crypto.com versus Coinbase. I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting market approaches. Like somebody spending a lot of money in marketing versus somebody spending a lot of money in branding, and really like showing trust in different ways.
Yeah.
And for different types of user. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's fascinating. It's a very different approach. Like I can almost see Coinbase's approach being almost product and like design led in like their strategy in terms of like, okay, we're gonna be the first people to make something easier for the masses versus Crypto.com's approach is more like market awareness, like it's almost like a branding or marketing
bit of
play.
a sales-led approach.
It's very much sales-led.
They're like, hey, we're gonna go for these like higher investors, higher trade volumes. They're taking it seriously. They're often on the app and they're making us more money.
Yeah, we know that
they're like active traders, like, and we need those.
It's true. It's
high volume through the app. It's high volume for them in transaction numbers. The more people interact with it, if you go after that target audience, then you have more chances of making a lot of money. We work documentary, we crashed. Not documentary, I wouldn't say. I think it's been...
Oh, yeah, sorry. It's a TV show. It's not a documentary. Sorry. I'm just like, somebody needs to fact check me on all this stuff. I'm just saying random stuff. Masa, the investor from SoftBank, right, says it's not the crazy one or the smart one that wins, or it's the one with all the money.
Yeah.
And so that might be like that strategy from that part of the world is, bully the market, own the brand.
It's going to be interesting. Let's see if Crypto.com listens to this and does something about their lion logo. I kind of like it. I want to hear more about that story.
You kind of like it?
I want to see more.
I'm more on the Coinbase side.
I think
logo.
I agree.
On the lion side?
No, I'm definitely the Coinbase side, but I think the lion as promised. If only they spend, I think, a bit of time in the rest of the brand. And I'm sure there is more research out there about the brand that we haven't come across. So
yeah, get rid of that border badge.
Yeah. Link into the description. If anybody finds anything, let us know. If you want to hear more about these brands, or if you want to hear any other topics in the coming weeks. We'll have another one next week. I don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
We'll have a fun one.
Yeah. Well, send us DMs and stuff like that if you guys have any ideas. Looking forward to it.
Let us know.
Talk to you guys soon.